any business, that is the standard business model. You buy low, you sell high to make your profit.
Okay. All right, Kelly, you want to add anything to that?
I just wanted to just piggyback off of what they were saying. I was thinking when he was talking about the lawyers and things like that, I was still thinking about the CPA and the bank and the other people along in the process that, they are legitimate people that legitimize this this industry that's going on, this field that's just blowing up, and that people need to hear about, get involved, and get a clear understanding. If you're going to have a comment or something about it, let it be a good comment, because if you have a bad comment, it puts us in a place where it makes it harder for someone to make a deal. When we see the big picture, we see it from all angles. Our perspective is a little bit different. Our point of view is a little bit different.
Okay.
And that's just pretty much it.
All right, Jamisa and John?
I just believe that most of the sellers are interested in getting rid of their house however they possibly can so they can start a new life. And I think if they could sell it to the homeless man down the street, they would do that. And if I need to dress in sackcloth and ashes to be their buyer, then we'll do that, because I'm too cute to go to jail, and I wouldn't be doing it if it were something that I couldn't stand behind and sleep at night and face people and honor my brand and my name.
Right. John, you want to add anything?
Yeah, it really helps for the revitalization of a lot of neighborhoods. The reason being is that a lot of these houses sit vacant for years, and it helps to renew and put families that need these homes in good working order. I mean, it's a good start for a lot of people, and it helps take it off the hands of people who don't want them.
Okay. I want to bring up, again, this is the Wholesale Diva, and we're broadcasting live here in Dallas-Fort Worth with some of my students and some of my new students coming on board. And I want to bring up a very controversial issue right now and get everyone's input on this. Why do you think African Americans are not getting involved in this business?
Okay.
So come on with it.
All right. First
Let's
of all,
start with your name.
Okay, my bad.
I think we're scared. One, that inferiority complex that's been instilled in us. So I think is once we step outside of that box that we've been put into, I think we'll be able to really get to another level. But I think really confronting that within self can change some things, though.
Okay. Fred?
Right. Well, first thing I want to say is realtesseract.com. And then secondly, what was the question again?
The question was, how do you promote your business on YouTube? No, the question was, why do you think more African Americans are not getting involved in this business? I mean, I travel all over the United States, and I do seminars and workshops and training sessions. And to be perfectly honest, most of my objections come from African Americans in the audience.
Yeah. Again, we harken back to my prior statement about lack of understanding. Right, there's a severe lack of understanding.
What was that phrase you used?
A deficit. I said earlier. I said there's a deficit.
Severe deficit.
Yeah. So deficit, lack, deficiency. I can go on and on with the acronyms. Okay. But the point is, people don't understand, number one, the process, and people don't understand business itself. When I say people, I mean black people. Okay. In this particular scenario, so. We don't have those uncles in the family who are real estate professionals and aunts who are real estate professionals and mothers and fathers who are doing things in the community to show us, how things go, and understand that business is analogous to warfare, where you have to be strategic, about your approach to things. Okay. You have to have a understanding of the lay of the land, There's just so many factors and so many things that we just don't get growing up, and I think that's a huge part of why we don't understand, things as it relates to wholesaling and
building generational wealth.
And building generational wealth, exactly.
Right.
Yeah, so there's just
so much poverty.
Exactly, exactly. Yeah. We've inherited so much poverty, and not only poverty or an impoverishment of a financial nature and a physical nature, but also an impoverishment of the mind. A non-tangible kind of thing, and that's the most difficult to deal with. So once we get over that impoverishment of the mind, I think we're going to get past a lot of these issues.
We're waking up. We're all waking up.
Yeah, this is the modern age. It's technology, YouTube. I'm sending this message out to other people that look just like me who I hope understand what I'm saying and who can resonate with what I'm saying. So, yeah.
We want to see you at the top.
Thank you. Kelly, your comment on why African Americans or more African Americans are not in the real estate investing business. You're new to the game, so.
I don't know. I don't even know how to answer that question because I haven't seen enough, African Americans, in or out. I've always seen white people, so it never really was a question to me. My first question was, why wasn't I in it?
Okay. Or why weren't you taught it, or why weren't you exposed to it?
Why didn't my uncle and my aunt teach me about this, that, and the other? And I do have some people that have been in the real estate industry, but it was like a secret. They never wanted to tell some of the things that...
And these were family members?
Yes, these are even family members. They will not even want to tell some of the things that are just basic knowledge that just having a conversation with someone who's had 4, 5, 6 deals could tell you, and they're my relatives. So I really don't even know how to answer your question. The question I can say for myself is, why didn't anyone share it with me?
Why?
Lack of unity. Yeah.
Right, exactly. It's like each one teach one.
Yeah.
No one hated me.
Exactly.
So I'm just sitting here like,
Well, and just real quick, there's a huge lack of discontinuity within the African American / Black community, on all issues in all the ways that we relate one to the other. So it makes perfect sense that when it comes to this particular business model, that you see that same issue rearing its ugly head. This lack of continuity, lack of togetherness. So,
Absolutely. And Jamise and John, let's get you guys' comments on this.
I always have.
I know you're ready.
So I don't know how far I can go into this, but I think there's 3 reasons. Number one is that African Americans, and some people will not like this answer, but a lot of us are waiting for somebody to rescue us. We're waiting for our 40 acres and a mule. We're still angry with the government for not allotting that and finding a way to give reparations. Well, we have to understand that there's too many people now for us to have any kind of reparations, and you have to seek out that opportunity and go for what you've seen work, okay? And for the real estate particularly, I think that the other 2 reasons are people see asking questions as a weakness. If you find somebody that you admire that's on the path that you're looking at, people will see that as a weakness to ask that person for mentorship or to ask them how they got where they are. And then the third part is that people don't value mentorship or investing in themselves. If you have a guru that asks you for $2,000 to teach you something, that's way out of your scope. People think that that's outlandish, not realizing that your return on investment will be exponential if you just stop and invest in yourself. And so I think asking questions and finding mentorship and actually going for opportunities, not waiting for opportunities to come to you, has kept us out of the real estate game. And people are so fixated on finding the popular models like we talked about before, like being a lawyer and a doctor and these things. They don't seek out opportunities for informal economy, the things that are in between the lines, the gray areas that are actually still very valuable. So
Jamisa, you're very world travel. I understand that you've been to Africa and you were teaching in Africa, and you also speak Arabic and Spanish.
Yes, ma'am.
And you've went to other countries and seen how those people live and how they don't have the opportunities that we have here as African Americans in America. Would you say that African Americans need to basically step up their game, because we have so many opportunities here to become wealthy, to make a contribution to society, and basically to get our own 40 acres and a mule?
Right. I'm so glad that you mentioned that. I have been around the world and I've seen how so many people make use of so little. And we were just talking about that on the way here, where you go to a shop and they are working with the very bare minimum, or you go to somebody's home and they're working with the very bare minimum. But we come here, we have free education in some situations, we have scholarships that are available to us, but billions of dollars go unused every year, for minorities particularly, especially African Americans. And so our reparations come in different forms, but everybody's waiting for a check in the mail. And it's not going to happen that way. They set out all these kind of opportunities, but most people don't want to read a flyer that they see that it pertains to them. Most people, when you have a real estate seminar, you go in and there's 7 people of color who might be in that room, but you go to the club and there's 700 people, you know. So
Yeah, good point.
It all
Good
falls
point.
down to
Good
priorities and what you think is most valuable to you. I'm not saying don't party. I love to dance. I love to sing. I love to play. But on the other side, you have to figure out, will this play, will this dance, will this singing, will this outfit benefit me in 2 years, 5 years? You won't even be able to find that outfit in 2 years, but you'll spend $200 on that, but won't spend $200 on a class to, you know, to put you in position for wealth and for prosperity. So it all boils down to priorities. And so I'll be honest, I mean, if this is not for you, cool, because there are 100,000 ways to make money and to make a living for yourself and to make generational wealth. But I'll challenge you to start seeking out those opportunities, because they're not going to come to you. They're not. You have to go find them.
Absolutely.
And everybody else, they get mad at immigrants for coming over and seizing these opportunities. But you have 10 years on the game, at least, you know, to have these opportunities. You've been here, you've lived here your entire life, and they're right in front of you. But immigrants come and you get mad because they, you know, they invest in themselves and they go to a course and they learn how something works. They master that, you know, through commitment, and they go for it. But then we have the same opportunities, and sometimes we don't prioritize those. So I understand that we have to pull ourselves from the boots, and we don't always have the information, sometimes people think, but you have to seek it out. You have to figure out, who am I, who do I want to be, and where am I trying to go, and find a vehicle to get there, because it won't come to you. Your life will pass you by if you waited. So.
Absolutely. John, you want to add anything to
I
that?
just want to say it's overall just a lack of understanding. Everybody has to get the mind right. That's it. Simply.
All right.
May I add to that?
Absolutely.
In regards to getting
I'm
your
going to
mind
give
right.
you the camera, Kelly, because I'm going to say closing comments.
In regards to getting your mind right, I think a step to that is really, really researching history, researching our history, understanding who we are, understanding we are much more than what we've been told we are. And I think once you really get into that, you understand your power and understand how great you can become, and you will become. So I think that's really important.
Yeah, Malcolm X said, of all our studies, history is best qualified to reward our research. So that's, yeah,
Know
hardcore.
thyself.
Yeah.
Know thyself.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Again, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Wholesale Diva with our new TV show, The Wholesale Diva. And we've been talking today about the influence or the effect on African Americans and why they're not investing in real estate and why they're not wanting to learn the game of real estate. This has been around for centuries. It's been done since time was tested. Contracts were done in the sand in Egypt with our forefathers. Contracts have been done on napkins. Horses have been traded for houses. So this has been going on for a long time. But I'm here to tell the African Americans that they're not coming for you. No one is coming. We are here for you to teach you, educate you, and let you know about the real estate investing business and let you know that you can be successful in this business. And Reach One, Teach One is our focus. We're all African Americans and we're interested in educating you. So come on board and stop waiting for your 40 acres and a mule. This is the Wholesale Diva signing out.